Welcome to the Resolution Podcast, where we believe it's possible to overcome struggles and thrive in life. Here we discuss mental health, trauma, brokenness, healing, and ultimately how we can experience a thriving life with Jesus and others. These conversations are informed by my new book, Free to Thrive, co-authored with Josh McDowell. I'm your host, Ben Bennett. Welcome to Season 2. Well, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Resolution Podcast. Ben Bennett here, and I'm just stoked for today's episode. I'm joined by Toni Collier, and we'll be getting into her story and overcoming hurt and brokenness. And Toni is the founder of an international women's ministry called Broken Crayons Still Color. Absolutely love that. And it helps women process through brokenness and get to hope. Come on. She also serves alongside her husband, Sam, who is the lead pastor of Hillsong Atlanta. She is a speaker, host, and consultant that has helped organizations with creative marketing, leadership, student ministry, and strategic planning. Toni, thanks for being with me today.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here. Thanks so much for having me. Super pumped about it.
Yeah, so good. You're in the ATL right now. I'm in the DAL.
Come on, Texas, baby.
Dallas, Texas. You're from here, right?
Texas. You know I'm from Texas?
Yeah.
The people need to know, okay?
That's awesome. Represent. We hold it down out here.
Yeah. Good.
Well, hey, hurt, brokenness, this impacts everybody from all walks of life. We hurt people. We're hurt by people. Nobody is immune. Life is messy. And then there's also so many ways that we can end up trying to cope in unhealthy ways with our pain and make sense of what we've walked through. And I think your story, Toni, is just so powerful, and what God continues to do through you is amazing. Again, welcome to the Thomas Nelson family.
I can't believe it.
It's an awesome family.
Yeah.
So cool to be in the Thomas Nelson family with you. And what God's doing through you is amazing. And so as we get into your story and this conversation today, will you just start by sharing, where did you grow up? And well, more specifically within Texas, where did you grow up, and what was life like for you growing up?
Yeah, that's so good. Man, I feel like I say this all the time. I feel like it's an elevator speech now, but I don't want to belittle story because, it was hard. I grew up in Houston, Texas, best city state in the world. Hello, somebody.
Come on.
And I grew up in a blended family. I had my mom and my dad, but I had two stepbrothers, and then that were from my dad, and then one stepbrother that was from my mom's first marriage. And, I really could say it was a normal household. We were a blended family, but it didn't feel like one. And unfortunately, when I was in the third grade, my mom suffered a major stroke. It left her paralyzed, and just a really, really hard childhood, taking care of my mom while my dad worked, and didn't receive a lot of nourishment. My two older brothers went and lived with their mom. So it kind of broke up the family dynamic and unit. My dad didn't have a high school diploma, so he had to work from dusk until dawn. It's kind of what you find with a parent that's present and married, but not present. And so missed out on a lot of nurturing, and took care of my mom for a long time, all the way up through high school. And I think the effects of those childhood wounds, as we call them, hello, somebody, manifested in so many different ways. I grew up way too fast. I didn't have the nurturing that parents give to help process through emotions and all that good stuff. And so I was a serial number. So I'm like, no excuses, no feelings, everything's fine. I ended up losing my virginity at 13, started drinking alcohol, smoking weed, trying to continue to numb all that pain and lack of attention and nourishment. My dad was very verbally abusive when he was around, and it was difficult, man. So broken family, broken childhood. Ended up graduating high school at 16 though, because hello to the threes on the Enneagram, somebody. I always wanted to win and achieve and accomplish. And so kind of living two lives, like being crazy, ratchet, twerking all up at the club and parties and drinking and smoking and putting on this facade to make my dad and everybody else proud, cheerleading captain and debate team and all of this stuff. And ended up graduating high school at 16, put myself through college, was supposed to graduate college in 3 years and go to law school, graduated college in 3 years, thought I fell in love with a boy and I was like, bye, I'm an adult, I'm leaving Texas. So left Texas, went to Georgia, hopped into an abusive marriage, and it was really, really hard season. So I'll stop there and I won't give the rest of the story. So if you're listening, just lean in, maybe we'll finish it. So that's childhood. Wow.
Hey, thanks so much for sharing that with us, and the vulnerability in that cliche word, but really, I appreciate it. And that's just so much pain to walk through, especially at an early age. Yeah. When you started early on coping, or I don't know if you use that word, but drinking, smoking, having sex, did you know at the time that you were dealing with pain and trying to cope with it? Or was it just like, this is how life is and this is what I've come to know?
That's such a good question. And it's one I don't get asked a lot. And I love it because I didn't realize I had gone through so much trauma and pain until I was 25. I never realized that I was worth more than abuse. And I didn't know it. And it was a part of life. This is just how it is. We go through hard things. People hurt you. You just bounce back and keep it moving and keep trucking. And that's a really unhealthy place to be, because it's one thing to be aware of the abuse or the addictions and the numbing and the coping. But when you're not, you can't seek the help you need. And so here I am just gallivanting through life, just taking blows and not even knowing it, So absolutely not. I had no idea.
Yeah. And I think that's, the reality for so many people. We never stop to say, wait, did I experience abuse? Were all my needs met in childhood? Probably not. We live in a fallen world. Right. Am I coping with something? We can just go through the motions and live, or worse, say, this is just who I am. This is just my sinful nature. I was born and I'll always struggle with this, rather than doing that hard work of heart work and taking a pause and asking people around us, like, do you think I'm healthy? Do you think I'm coping with stuff?
Is everything okay? Are we good? Okay.
Am I okay? Are you okay? What's going on here?
Yes. So good.
Wow. So how did that pain keep showing up, like past childhood? How did it show up later in life, and before you, or maybe even as you began to seek help? And I want to ask a question about seeking help in a minute, but.
Okay, I'm down. Woo! As Dr. Anita Phillips says, who is a mastermind.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I know. She said something that I will just never forget. She said, when we look at Jesus's hands and the scars that he bore with nails, not only do we see a healing, but we see a sealing, like SEA, seal. Okay. And when we look at his scars, they're still present. They've just turned into wounds. They've kind of scabbed over, if you will, and they've healed. They've sealed themselves. And what I've been processing literally ever since she told me that was this idea that it's not that we're trying to numb, which was what I was doing, but it's that we're trying to take our childhood wounds and turn them into scars that we show with grace, but stories that's attached to those scars. And that's the sealing. How do we seal our wounds? How do we actually get to a place where they're still seen, but when we tell our stories, they're in healthy and productive and hopeful ways? And the truth is, it takes a while to get there. When I moved to Georgia, got married, hopped in an abusive marriage, went through poverty, then went through church hurt and manipulation from a pastor that, oh my gosh, that's a whole nother episode, church hurt, holla. And then transitioned out of the marriage, got a divorce, tried to restart my life, have this moment at 25 years old where I'm like, dang, I just went through a lot in 25 years. Now I need some help. I had to take a step back to go form scars that would be sealed.
Mm.
I couldn't tell my story at the beginning. It's just the truth. Because first of all, I was mad at everybody. I'm like, dang, y'all suckers really abused me out here, you know? And I had so much bitterness from my first marriage, from this pastor that just manipulated me spiritually and in so many different ways that my story wasn't sealed yet. I was going through a healing process. I sat in a counseling office every week for 2 freaking years. Every single week. I did EMDR, which is trauma treatment. I did a 16-week betrayal trauma group, which was literally the worst pruning process of my whole freaking life. I'm like, this is horrible. And then when I got to the other side and I felt like I actually had scars that were sealed, I said, okay, now it's time for me to tell my story. And truthfully, in the telling of the story, it's almost even more healing. It's just a different type of healing. So it's been a journey, but I think that people have got to give themselves time to heal. And I'm just going to be 100% real with you. This may be controversial, but I'm going to say it. People are out here waving the vulnerability flag, telling all their business on social media from a halfway healed place.
Yeah.
And they are opening up wounds in themselves and other people that haven't been healed, and destruction is happening. And I feel like we have to be responsible with our healing. You can't just be telling everybody all your business on social media, expecting for you to just be okay once you get to that aware place. And you're not seeking professional help and healing. That quickly turns into depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, and ideation. Like, I just feel like we need to be a little bit more responsible with our vulnerability and transparency. So
yeah, that's a good word. I think it's Craig Rochelle who said, everything that's said needs to be true, but not everything true needs to be said.
Come on, somebody.
And
Help us, Craig.
Yeah, I think so, on one of his leadership podcasts.
So good.
But as I think about, it's so, and I've seen this all the time, just being in ministry, 10 years, leading recovery groups, speaking, writing, the whole shebang. Yeah. Do people still say shebang? I don't know. I did. So whatever.
I receive it.
But people will so quickly finally feel, oh, I'm no longer walking in shame. I've told somebody. Now I want to tell everybody. And it's not always the best time. I think about my healing journey, and one of my mentors gave me a really good word and encouragement. And it was like, I didn't start sharing my story of healing from porn addiction and trauma and mental health stuff until probably 4 or 5 years into the healing journey of lots of recovery. And he encouraged me, not to do that, because there's this whole other, well, one, you want to be not perfect, but in the process, but then there's this whole other of going public. You're basically taking those wounds and allowing other people to say positive things, say negative things, to attack them. And if you're not ready, it can deepen that wound and be so painful.
Yeah.
So one of the questions, I mentioned earlier was that I wanted to ask was, in your journey, how did you eventually get to the point of saying, I need help, or realizing you needed help, and getting into the EMDR and the betrayal recovery group and all of that?
The truth is, as cliche as it sounds, fam, I needed to be around healthy community that could recognize, first and foremost, that what I had gone through was unhealthy. It is not healthy for a 13-year-old to be sexually manipulated and lose her virginity. It's not healthy for a 14-year-old to resort to alcohol and weed and numbing in those ways. It's not healthy to leave the house at 16, chunk up the deuces, cut everybody off, and lead my own life. I was not psychologically ready for that. It's not healthy for a pastor to pay you way below minimum wage for 80 plus hours a week and tell you that your purpose is connected to him and not God. It's not healthy. But the problem was, everybody around me was also being abused and in those types of moments. All of my friends smoked and drank and partied. I had nobody, unfortunately, to steer me in the right direction. My mother was sick. Unfortunately, my dad was at work all the time, and he had 100 other things going on to try to take care of our family as we helped my mom heal. When I got around people that were further along in their healing journey, were just healthy, just grew up in a somewhat stable household.
Yeah.
And I'm like telling these stories. I remember my first counseling session. I'm like spitting it all out to my counselor, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, girl, this just is what it is. Like, this is my story. That's just it." She's like, No. She was like, "This is going to take years." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" I was like, "No, girl, give me a couple books to read. I got it. I'm straight." She's like, No. You got trauma. You got abuse. You have some things you really need to process through. And it was friends that had also gone through trauma and healing. And it just opened my eyes. If they said it to me, or if they led their lives, seeing other married couples not argue and curse each other out and rip doors off the hinges to solve a simple conflict, seeing that and being around healthy environments, that's what opened my eyes. Obviously, the power of God. Hello, somebody.
Yep.
But I needed the hands and feet of Jesus to help me really understand and see that my life could be more, that I didn't have to be cursed out and yelled at and called out of my name, but that there was a gentle and kind way of honoring humanity and giving people dignity. And I deserved that, and I was worth that. So, yep.
Wow. That's powerful. And just a testimony to how we need so many friends who can point stuff out in our life, but also know what health and wholeness is, rather than brokenness becoming the norm and just settling for the status quo. One of the things that we talk about in my new book, Hello, Thomas Nelson, Free to Thrive, is that how unhealthy behaviors aren't random, right? I think so many times in the church, we think that this is just due to my sinful nature. This is just who I am. I'm going to struggle with it until the day I die. But so often there's a deeper hurt. There's deeper unmet needs from childhood, from life in the present, that we are trying to cope with or trying to resolve. We just don't know it. We're reenacting and trying to re-resolve past hurts in the present. Where would you encourage somebody to even begin identifying where those unmet needs are, where those hurts might be from the past?
It's so good. All right. First and foremost, let me say this. This may be controversial. I just have to warn the people, okay? All of us have unmet needs. Every single person. We live, not only are we imperfect and wired for struggle as human beings internally, but we live in a broken, fallen world. I think our mistake has been what Sandra Stanley calls the comparison trap. Well, I haven't been sexually manipulated, so I don't really need as much counseling as Toni needed. I haven't tried drugs. I haven't been drunk before. I haven't been addicted to porn. She needs counseling. I do not. Or vice versa. My stuff is too heavy. I don't even know where to start, where to begin. I think we have to start base level as humans. You have unmet expectations in your life. You have been hurt, sad, mad, anxious about something. Yeah. And I think from that place of just what Paul says in 2 Corinthians, of just accepting that we are broken is the first place to start. I feel like a lot of leaders, especially, we get on these crazy stages and we get these platforms, and for some reason we have convinced ourselves that we're invincible. But even more than that, as we parent, as single moms, as we are just married, marriage alone will tear you up. As we are parenting, as we are working corporate jobs, as we're working in a global pandemic, we are all battling through something. And I think the first step is setting that foundation. It is what it is, fam. We're all battling through something. And I think from that place of awareness and honesty and truth, we get to go and dig, right? And find those places in our story, whether self-led or in partnership, that we can unfold and really pinpoint and be people that live on the offense and not the defense. I have a women's course, the Hopeful Woman course. We're getting ready to open up registration again at the end of May in 2021. And one of the things that we do, step 2, is called story mapping. And it is the freaking step. It's the modules that take women out. We're finishing up a class of 50 women, and they just, they email us. They're like, do we have to do step 2? I'm like, oh yeah, sis. Oh yeah, you do. I've had women say, I got to go sit with my counselor. Can you hop on the phone? Like, we literally take women step by step from pre-birth all the way up into the age that they are. And they have to sit down and map out every single thing that they battled with that caused them pain, hurt, shame, guilt, anxiety, depression, whatever, anything negative. They even get to go and ask their parents, if they're around and still alive, what happened when their parents were like, when their mother was pregnant with them? Were there any traumas? Like, all of it. And you step back for a moment and look at that map, and it blows your mind, because then God, with the power of God, starts to bring fresh revelation and a professional counselor about all of these things that have happened in your story and how they're playing a role even today. And I think we got to do that. I think everyone wants to tell their story. They want to do the triumph and the testimony and all of that. And that's so great. But like, let's not be surface level anymore. Like, let's actually go and figure out what it is that we're carrying in our marriage and what makes you pop off on your man or your boo or your woman and be mad about one little thing that gets brought up. What is that from your past that's triggering those moments? And man, how cool would that be in a world of people that's like aware?
Seriously.
Gosh.
That'd be an amazing world.
That'd be an amazing world. It's like, how cool would it be if you're in an argument with someone and someone says, you know what? The story that I'm telling myself is that you said that because of this. I think this is what it's triggering in me. I could be wrong. Can we talk about it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
That's what I want.
Yeah. So many times in those arguments and those conversations, if you ever notice somebody getting really mad, really triggered, it's probably not about the present. It probably has to do with something in the past that was significantly painful for them. Just one
100%.
tip of advice.
Yeah, just one small little beep beep.
Yeah. Write that down, tweet it, steal it.
Do it.
So good. Yeah, I think, well, what you're saying is people need to hear this. It's, we have no other life to compare ours to. What we know is normal. So, of course, we're going to, as humans, want to compare my story to somebody who experienced something that I think is worse. But trauma, hurt, brokenness impacts all of us differently. We're all made in the image of God, unique. So something that absolutely wrecks somebody may have a different effect on somebody else. And then the way it's going to play out, think about my story, the way my stuff plays out is so different than one of my friends who had similar stuff happen.
Yeah.
And we're made in the image of God. We're all unique. Nobody is, or ever will look like us, be just like us.
Yeah.
We're uniquely wired to display the image of God in a way that nobody else can. And that even is seen all throughout our brokenness. Another question I wanted to ask was, how did all of this, well, I think that so often our story impacts our ministry, but how did all of this, everything you've been through, start to play out in your ministry, start to impact the dreams and desires and what God was calling you to do?
Yeah. What I enjoy about what God is doing is that he made it very clear what part my story would play in our women's ministry, Broken Crayons Still Color. I mean, this is quite literally the name of my women's ministry is exactly what God's doing through my life. He's still using me. He's still allowing me to pick up all of the broken pieces from my life and for it to be used and to create a really beautiful picture and story for the generations to come. It was so distinct and clear. Broken Crayons Still Color actually came from a talk that I preached as I was going through divorce and transitioning from a toxic church environment. And like literally I sitting in my bed, trying to write a talk for FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, for these darn middle schoolers. And I'm like, God, I'm so unworthy. Like I'm going through all this at once. I don't want to let them down. Hello, performer's heart. I want to be able to preach and show up. I don't even know what to talk about. And I'm just scrolling through Instagram and I just see a little graphic that says Broken Crayons Still Color. That, preach about that. Also use 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9, where I so clearly speak through the Apostle Paul and say, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in your weakness, in your brokenness. Therefore, you should boast all the more gladly about your brokenness, not about all the things that you have and what you can do and all the things, but about your brokenness, so that in order that, here's the formula, Christ's power will rest on you. It's like God's on the sidelines of our lives. And he's like, put me in, coach. Like I got some power for your weakness. Are you tired? Are you worn out? Are you weary? Come on. Psalm 34:18. I revive those who are crushed in the spirit. I'm close to the brokenhearted. And that's what he's doing. He's literally using me and other women. Let me just put that out there right now. As Bishop T.D. Jakes says, if I don't see me, it's not for me. My story, Toni Collier alone, is not powerful enough to convince a world and a generation of women and men that God can still use you, not only because of your brokenness and in spite of your brokenness, but right there in it, like right there in like the hollow places, the valley places. And what's powerful about that, about like your weakest moments and still being able to do greatest things, is that you, and if you're honest and vulnerable, your audience, your crowd, your followers can also see that it is literally God. Because they're like, oh, she crazy. She's right in the middle of anxiety. This has to be the actual Lord because she's nuts. Okay. And that's what's happening, man. We get to just go tell that to women and all the people all the time. Just like, look at what God's doing. Look. He can do it through you too. So it's been cool.
Yeah. That's amazing. Broken Crayons Still Color. Yeah. Checked out your blogs, the course you have on there. It's awesome. So helpful. And we don't have nearly enough people who are speaking on this topic about overcoming brokenness, becoming whole, living in wholeness, becoming emotionally healthy, dealing with our past. Yeah. And I've racked my brain for years trying to figure out why that so often we don't like to talk about this stuff in the church. Maybe it's the shame, maybe it's the fear. I don't know what it is ultimately, but I do know that the Bible is honest. All throughout Scripture, we see real brokenness, and that's intentional. That God reveals that to us. The people that we might want to put on a high horse, David or Job, we see their stories and the deep depression and the pain and the trauma that they go through. So it's all of us, like you're saying. Toni, what would you say to somebody who is just been dealing with some kind of hurt, been dealing with some kind of brokenness or addiction or unhealthy coping mechanism for years that is just struggling to keep going?
Man, I feel like I want to say, I have the chills. I feel like I want to say what I didn't hear. Number one, sit in that truth. I was so ashamed and embarrassed for so long that I just had anxiety about everything. I was so ashamed and embarrassed that even I was introduced to pornography in elementary school and middle school. There was such a shame bubble. And in that shame bubble, as even Brene Brown, she talks about shame like a petri dish. And she talks about this idea that when we isolate and when we hide, it just festers and it feeds it all. But when we sit in the truth of what we are battling with, and we allow people to give us compassion and a feeling of being known and worthy of love and belonging, it shrinks that shame until it's depleted. I would say first and foremost, just own it. Own it. It doesn't take away from who you are. Hello, I am Toni. I still want to roll up a blunt every now and then so I can get rid of this freaking anxiety. I still want to. I still battle with lust and pride. I still want more followers and likes. And every single day, I freaking have to wake up and say, God, don't let me mess this up. Because who I am is a person that wants personal glory and not surrender. That is who I am. And there is not a day on this freaking earth. And if I do, call me out, brother. Like, just post it, cancel me quickly. Like, there's not a day in my life that I want to go by and pretend like I've arrived. I don't think I ever will. I don't think I'll ever say that, oh, I've been set free from everything. I'm out of the trenches officially. I'm no longer in the valleys. I live my life on the mountaintops. No, I've been wired to live in the trenches, to hurt deeply and carry hurt and hope and pain and joy and to go through stuff. I've been wired. God has fashioned my path to where when big opportunities come, I hide and I get anxious and I get scared and nervous. And when I own that, that is when you see me hopping on the phone with my friends saying, I'm so scared to write a book. I'm so scared. I don't want it to become bigger than God. I don't want me to chase after pride. I can feel my wheels spinning. Oh, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do this partnership. I want so badly for God to run my life, but I know I have barriers. And it's when I get on the phone and I freaking bare my heart out where my friends reach out and say, Toni, you were made for this. And because of that posture, you won't get ahead of God. Trust that he's stronger than you. You won't bulldoze your way through this. He won't let you fall. Just keep surrendering. That's life. That's the holy discontent valley mountain top moments that we get to live with in Christ. And I just would encourage people to just own it, say it, heal from it, walk boldly in your weaknesses, boast about them suckers. Remind yourself every day of what you were battling with so that you can make it about God and not you. And so that's what I would say.
Wow.
Not
powerful. I feel like we need a praise break up in here. Hallelujah.
Oh, this is when it tingles.
What was that, Jiggle?
I said, this is when it tingles. It's a holy
tingles. I got to use that, the holy tingle.
Holy tingle.
I know it has spirit fingers from, there's a movie back in the day. I
bring it
forgot
on,
the title,
baby. I used to be a competitive cheerleader. I know what you're talking about. Don't worry about it. Gotcha.
There we go. You know.
Let us never forget.
You know.
Holy tingle,
Wow.
man. It's all up in here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, as we get closer to wrapping up our conversation today, where can people, well, no, first, tell us a little bit more about Broken Crayons Still Color, and then tell us more about Hillsong Atlanta and just what God is doing today.
There's so many things. I'm literally like, guys, are you sure? Are you sure that you know who you asked to do this? No. So many great things going on, man. Broken Crayons Still Color, our women's ministry. Oh my gosh, there's so many things. We have a blog, brkncrayons.com, where we just do series like churches do, and we write about the hard things. But even more than that, we have our little Facebook group. We have 1,800 women in there. It is like, it's a vulnerable like vacation, if that's what you want. Like if you want to hop up in there, get some prayer, hear some women tell their stories, it is that all the way. And it's been such a powerful thing. We have a prayer partner initiative where you could sign up to partner with a trained prayer partner for 3 months. That's something that we just recently launched, and it's still just nuts that we're even doing that. But we really do believe prayer works. And one-on-one intentional prayer is really good alongside corporate prayer. We do something called the Broken but Hopeful Challenge every like twice a year, pretty much, essentially. And we bring in speakers to talk about hard, messy, crazy topics. I'm like saying this for the first time, but we have a challenge coming up. Our second one, it's called the Broken but Hopeful Challenge, Be Bold, where we're going to be bold about our healing, be bold about our stories, and be bold about our faith. And from that challenge, we then challenge women to hop into this course. We can only take about 100 women every 8 months to walk through like road map, story mapping, transitioning toxic community, deepening your relationship with Christ. Like, it is crazy. So it's a 50 video course. It comes with a free 180 page journal. And we do monthly calls and we bring speakers in, and it's private and exclusive. It's got its own Facebook group, and we hop on calls and we talk about like hard things, and we snot cry. We snot cry every month. It's great.
That's good.
And so we do that. And then Hillsong Atlanta, what is even happening? So we're planning a church, and my husband, bless his heart, who used to be on the road, itinerant speaker, living his best life. And that sucker is a pastor now. Okay. He is literally meeting with our teams, cultivating family, starting family groups and small groups. And I just get to serve alongside him. So I'll be preaching and teaching. I will be helping all of our teams. I have church planted before, been in marketing and creative ideation. So I get to kind of play this role as mother of the house, obviously, but then I get to help everybody. So that's kind of like my consultant blood. I'm like, I want to do something different. I'm not like co-lead, first lady. Like, no, I want to like actually do stuff. And so he doesn't want me to call myself a consultant, but I feel like I am. I'm like the most trusted advisor of the church. And I just get to help and champion people and make spaces for women and set up ministries for people to come lead. And I just, I'm really excited about that. Last but not least, family, Broken Crayons is going on tour. Local churches in the United States. We have partnered with an organization that I cannot mention yet to go on tour. And it's great. We've got churches locked in. Other churches are reaching out. And it's a salvation tour. It is not like a frilly come and worship all you saved people. It's no, bring the people that you know need Jesus and let's get them saved. With your ticket, you get a free ticket. Bring somebody, your mom and them, your cousins, your granny, your friends at work that you hate, kind of bring them, because this is a let's get more women to accept Jesus tour. So more details to come on that later.
Yeah. That's sick.
Let's
stoked for that.
Sorry.
I'll be cheering y'all on as you do that. Because is it just for women or are guys invited too?
Right, brother. You know, at the end of the day, I started off as a student pastor. All right. Because I had a little grit to me. Now I'm like drawing my eyebrows on. I got blush and stuff on for the podcast, but I really grew up Ford tough. Like my family's from Louisiana. I grew up with 3 older brothers and a crazy dad. And so for the longest, I was like, students, I'm called to everybody. And the Lord was like, bring your behind to the stages in front of women. I mean, it was the weirdest transition. I mean, curse all up and down, because that's just where I came from, popping beer bottles all the time. And now I'm like, women, come together and let's talk about our feelings. It's literally nuts. All my friends from like college and high school are like, who is this woman? So it is what it is, fam, you know?
God does what he does.
So weird. So weird. I'm like, get my hair done. I got look at this, so girl. I got flower earrings. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
But here I am.
Let's go.
I do have sweats on, so that it balances it out. Okay.
But you can't tell the Zoom, thing. So
just want y'all to know, because you can't see. Okay.
Classic quarantine hack.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, yes. Okay.
All about those. Well, Toni, where can people follow you, stay connected with you, keep up to date?
Yeah. Well, I'll usually just say, hey, go to Broken Crayons, BRKN Crayons. But hey, surprise, men, you can go to Toni J. Collier as well. If you want to go peep in on the women's stuff, go for it. BrokenCrayons.com everywhere. Our Facebook group, which I love so much, again, for like the women out there, the Hopeful Woman Collective on Facebook. We debated back and forth about what should we call it? Should we call it like the Broken Collective? And we're like, well, I don't think that people are going to want to join. So we decided on the Hopeful Woman Collective, and it's been great because it's a really inspiring thing for people to be a part of. So that's it, guys.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, to everyone watching or listening, check out those websites. I've looked at them, checked them out, been following them. I've been following Toni. She's always posting amazing stuff. And wherever you're at, the reality is that we all hurt. We all experience brokenness. The goal is not to become perfect or to somehow arrive, even if we could, but to trust God to use us, to trust God to heal us. He's making us whole in the process, and he wants to use us in the mess. And all we have to do is ask for help. Ask him for help, ask others for help, and bring community in and take that next step. Toni, thanks so much for being with me today. Thanks for everything you're doing. It was so great to get to chat with you. Thanks for checking out the Resolution Podcast. To go deeper on today's topic, get my new book, Free to Thrive, at resolutionmovement.org, as well as access a variety of free resources. If this episode encouraged you, please take a moment to rate it, share it, and subscribe. You can listen to us wherever podcasts are found, as well as watch the visual version of each episode on our YouTube channel. Connect with us by searching Resolution Movement on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. See you soon.